Although Daniel and Max have been given the major leads of Tybalt and Romeo, Max also has to learn another 5 more roles.
You're basically learning every role.
If it breathes and it's a man, I need to know it. I've had a lot of work before, but I've never had this much.
The production of Romeo and Juliet is being restaged by Patricia Ruan and Frederick John, who both worked with the world-famous dancer Rudolf Nureyev throughout his career.
The reason that we have been given this kind of responsibility is because both Rick and myself were in the original cast. I created the role of Juliet, and Rick created the role of Tybalt. It is for us to try to pass this on to this generation. It's a challenge, and it's also very touching in a way, because you really feel that you're bringing something back home to where it belongs.
Bring back just a bit, sweetheart, thanks. Just so we've got a bit more space between your frocks.
Nureyev created most of the original work of Romeo and Juliet in the same English National Ballet studio 34 years ago.
It's quite a responsibility, actually, because you have to reintroduce Rudolph, the man, to this generation of young dancers.
I'd come off a guest touring slot and bought myself a video camera. It was one of the first brands that ever came out. And I set this camera up right in the corner of the room here in the studios and just started filming. Nureyev was a mega star when stars were really stars. He was the king of dance. And this is just gold dust, this film now. Seeing the company 35 years ago. Nothing has changed. The same atmosphere, there's a smell about a place. Rudolph's presence is still there. You can feel it.
In Romeo and Juliet, Nureyev revolutionized male dancing, giving the best roles to the boys.
Suddenly you had a ballet where every act, what you see most of, is fellas doing their stuff. He really did put male dancers on the map as people who have their own choreography that's created for them, as opposed to the old tradition, which was that the males were there just to make the ballerina look beautiful.
Nureyev created the role of Romeo for himself, the most technical in the ballet.
Well, basically, this is the biggest role I've ever got, and this was always the dream, to do this one. So I want to do it as well as possible, and I've got a month to get it down. So I haven't got a lunch break all week.
For anybody who's tackling a principal role for the first time, it's a huge thing to take on. Not just his technique, but also his acting ability, his partnering skills, his stamina, that's for sure. Max must be aware that he's carrying something that's really quite special. Not to mention following in the footsteps of one of the greatest dancers ever.
Then she comes down again, arabesque, almost.
That was first rehearsal. Just got to retain it all. I'm now going to go upstairs and do Romeo and Benvolio jumping about at the beginning of Act 2, I think it is. If it moves and it's male, I've got to learn it, basically.
After 4 hours, Max is still learning Romeo and another major role at the same time.
2, 3, 4. Yeah, step round the jump this way.
It's hard to get one, let alone both. I haven't even got one yet.
The ballet staff have 4 other Romeos to train as well.
To be honest with you, God knows. A nightmare. I'm being honest, just because it's very quick and I had to watch 2 places, and it's fine. It's always that, and then we'll sort it out from there. But it's a lot.